prepared.
I got to prepare somehow. It usually involves...
I hope you have some questions.
Oh, yeah.
So
I got tons of questions. I got tons of questions for my guest, EdDassie. That's how we start this, bitch. Nice. Already off. No, but I do just want to bring it down and keep it real with you. Welcome, everybody, to this Juan time. Today, my guest is EdDassie, a very good friend of mine. And let's see, you are the co-owner of New Connections Movement.
Works. New Connections Movement Works.
Which is your company. And then you also are the CEO of your nonprofit, Cerebral Palsy Hope Foundation.
Yes, and in order for me not to get in trouble, I will say co-owner as well with my wife.
Co-CEO.
Yes, exactly.
Is that CCEO? Or what? The chief stands for something else then, right? There's too many chiefs in the tribe.
She allows me to be the chief.
Okay, there it is. Supersedes.
But we know who the chief is.
You have to default a lot of the times. For your own well-being, I want to continue being your friend. But no, just wanted to get you behind the mic, put those headphones on, and just find out what Mr. Dassie is all about, and what you hope to do with all the wonderful endeavors that you have kind of put your life on track to accomplish, really. I find a lot of inspiration from you. I do. You're very much older than me. Very. I just messing. No, but
more handsomer.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
If that's a word.
It is now. No, I do find inspiration from you. I mean, you're over 50, if I can say that. 52, and you're out there keeping up with the young cats. I mean, you do jujitsu. You work out twice a week with a group of people on top of whatever else you do, and you roll jujitsu. What level are you?
Oh, I'm just a white belt.
Just
having some exercise, man.
Yeah.
Not looking to be the next Gracie.
I've seen you with a couple of black eyes. But no, you're exactly, as far as like being, physically active and involved as I hope to be, in my years to come, really.
God,
so
I
do.
Me sound so old, buddy.
I know, and that's why I'm kind of like dragging to get these words out. But yeah, man, I just want to kind of, pick their brain. I mean, that's my whole goal with this. You asked me earlier as I walked in, it's like, what are you doing with this whole thing? Like, what's it all about? And I'm like, man, I'm doing it as much for me as it is for, my well-being, just gaining knowledge and new perspective, different points of views, opinions, and just really apply them to my own thoughts and feelings and my view, and just, see where I stand and where I can stand to be corrected in a sense. So I do like to just take in that information. So with that being said, the next 2 hours are yours. No, I just messed up.
Go.
No, where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah,
I'm
start
from
there.
Illinois, man. Chicago.
Superman's from Illinois, right? No.
Okay.
He is now.
Yeah. No, I don't know. But yeah, I'm originally from Illinois. I lived almost 40 years there, and came down to Arizona about 11 years ago now. So
11.
Yeah.
That would have put it, 2008, right when the bubble almost came down. So how was that for you?
I had a terrible idea to purchase a house when I moved down here, and I pretty much sold it at half price because it dropped.
Oof.
So yeah, not a good first experience.
So were you like living in a cardboard box?
No, but ended up renting houses after that, apartments. Yeah, it was. I had to regain credit. Yeah. That's not why we're here to talk about.
No, I mean, it all leads
those
to
are life experiences, my friend.
It all leads to who you are now, and that's the whole key. So you're from Illinois. You moved here 11 years ago. What brought you?
So I have a child with special needs. He has cerebral palsy, lung disease, epilepsy, reflux, acid reflux, and basically a developmental delay. He's 15 years old now, my champion hero, Lucas. and his twin sister, Caitlin. Lucas couldn't breathe well starting from birth. He was born at 28 weeks gestation, and almost died probably 4 or 5 times in the hospital.
Jeez.
And his first 7 months of life were in the hospital. Then we got him out, and then he went right back in. And I was constantly in and out of the hospitals for one reason or another, health reasons, for the first 3+ years. And after living in Chicago or Illinois for that amount of time with the winters and the summers, and him not being able to breathe in that environment, we're like, you know what? We know. My previous wife, she had lived in Arizona, and she knew the quality of the weather. Yeah. And I had come down here many times for Chicago Cubs spring training camps.
That's right.
So we loved Arizona, and we've heard a lot of good things about being able to breathe here.
Yeah.
So that's why we moved, to give him a better life. And shortly after, his breathing got better. And also with the work that I'm going to talk about, his breathing got better, and he became more healthy. And now he's doing real well.
How old is he now?
15.
15.
Yeah, 15-year-old twins.
And how many times did he almost die, you said?
Oh gosh, in the hospital in the first 7 months, it had to be 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
Yeah, he was born at 2 pounds.
Oh my God.
And he just had trouble breathing because his lungs didn't develop. I guess they told us the last thing to develop are the lungs I think
I have heard that. Yeah.
As you're in utero, and he had a real tough time with that. So born 3 months early, his lungs were terrible. So
is that genetic? Is that
no,
hereditary?
So his amniotic sac broke. His how they say water breaks? His broke at week 16, actually.
Oh, good Lord.
And they said that you should, I hate to say this on here, but abort and start over.
Wow.
So they didn't give him much chance of survival. And I said, well, wait a minute. There's another one in there. We knew we had twins at that time.
That's right.
And they said, no, you can't do nothing about that one. Just abort and start over.
So both, essentially.
Yeah. Take them both out, and that's it. Start over. We did in vitro fertilization. So we said, well, that's not an option. Yeah. And you're fired. I ended up getting rid of that doctor and going to get a second opinion, which is really funny story. She was the daughter of, at that time, head coach of the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
What's his name? Mike. I forget his name now. Obviously. Holmgren. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And they didn't give us a great diagnosis at that point either. She just said the best thing you can do is go home, go on bed rest, and wait it out. The earliest we can save him is week 23.
Wow.
So
yeah, because at the last thing you want to do is get a parent's hopes up as well. So I could definitely see like the towing the line of being realistic, but also like if you, as a doctor, I think you would kind of gauge the parents as well to see how, involved or how like, I don't know, like you're in that business for so long and you're like, well, I've seen this before and you guys should just do this. Yeah. But it's like, no, we're willing to kind of fight this out and, let us. That is our choice to do that.
Well, I believe after seeing many doctors now, over the last, 15 years.
I imagine, yeah.
That there's a bedside manner that needs to be, aware of the emotions of the parents.
Yes.
We parents, both Carla and I, now have children with special needs, and they have never given us great, nobody's ever given us great news. It's always your kid has this or your kid's failing at this or, and I can go on, not only doctors, but teachers, therapists.
I can only imagine.
So, there is a bedside manner that they should have, but some don't. And that's fine. We as parents now know that we can fire anybody.
Yeah.
So I got rid of him, and that was my first experience of the doctor is not the God. The doctor is just
Yeah.
an advice.
Because you go in there and you're like, yeah, you're supposed to know all these answers. You're supposed to be up to date with all the new treatments, diets, all of that. And a lot of times they're not.
And, you know, they practice medicine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when they become professional, I'll start listening to them, but they're still practicing. So
Yes. Yeah.
I took that in. Again, we got a second opinion, and she said, go on bed rest. We went on bed rest from week 16 to week
that mic a little closer.
23.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm a new podcaster. So we went on bed rest from week 16 to 23, and he made it to week 23, and then they allowed us to come to the hospital because that's the earliest they could save him. And then every day was like a blessing. That's what they told us. Every day was a blessing. So week 23 to week 28 to the day, it was actually Valentine's Day, February 14th. I had all these good plans for my wife at the time in the hospital, and she called me at 5 a.m. and said, they're coming. Oh. So I had to rush to the hospital, and they were born. Worst experience of my life, because there was so many complications and problems and stuff. Neither of them really made a sound when they came out. They were 2 pounds, you know, and yeah, anyway, long story, but you know, he made it through. I mean, 7 months in the hospital, you know, almost dying a few times, and in and out of the hospitals for the next 3.5 years. Got down to Arizona, and now he's doing really well compared to what anybody gave him a hope for.
Wow. So were you always involved with special needs kids?
No, never. I was a computer guy. I was in the computer industry for 24 years, and you know, never had any kind of experience with children with special needs. In fact, they kind of scared me. You know, you don't know what to do. They're you know, quote unquote different than the typical kids, and we don't even call them in our industry. We won't even call them normal kids. We call them typical now. They're typically developing. Yeah, our kids weren't typically developing, so
gotcha.
We knew that pretty early on, and we just you know, had to deal with it at that time. But I never had any experience with anything like that.
So this kind of catapulted you into maybe, I don't know. So I guess after like going and talking to doctor after doctor after doctor, and then, you know, maybe seeking help and services, you know, that were already around, you kind of felt the need to kind of fill some shoes that you needed filled that you weren't finding elsewhere?
Well, we did 5 different therapies. So we moved to Arizona, and we got into the what they call early intervention system, and it had the ability for us to get government services that would provide therapies for my son. So we did 5 different therapies: physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech, developmental, and vision therapies. And we weren't seeing much gain. And a person that we knew in early intervention said, hey, you should check out this person in California, this woman. She does some really neat work. Her name is Anat Banyel, and see what she does. So I looked her up and got information, and then I started seeing some videos of what she does. And she does these movements with these kids, and they start to become, you know, better physically, better cognitively, and better emotionally. And I was like, ooh, we got to try this out. Yeah. So I packed up our bags. We took my son and daughter and my wife at the time. We went to California to meet this woman. We met her, and it was kind of a shock, because she's very, you know, she's real. She's in your face. You know, she doesn't. She's been doing this for a long time, and she tells you how it is right away. And you know, she told us, you know, what you're doing at home with the other therapies is probably taking them in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Negative more than anything at that point.
Teaching them some bad habits. Because we told her, you know, one thing for sure, our physical therapist at the time was causing him to scream and cry and just be upset. And you can tell he was either frustrated or in pain. And I just thought, as a guy, you got to go through this, Lucas. You gotta fight through this. This is gonna make you better.
Yeah.
Wrong. I didn't know what I know now, and it was a big learning lesson. So when we got to see Anat in California, I learned, this is not the way. The therapies that I'm doing are not the way. And there's good therapists out there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the ones I had were just not good. And I went out there for a week, and it was going so well. We stayed 3 weeks.
Nice.
And we came back with a kid that could move better.
Wow.
He was breathing better. He was seeing better visually.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the funny thing. She had us get rid of his walker, his stander, and his some of his breathing apparatuses.
Really?
And he started doing better. Oh, and his vision, got rid of his glasses at that time. And basically what she told us is that the brain is still learning. He was 3.5, almost 4.
Okay.
And the brain is still learning. So why put all these corrective devices on him when he can start to develop his own ways of getting around and seeing and thinking and breathing, and all these things came, better by the little movements that they were doing. So the therapy, the Yale Method therapy, or not therapy, but the Yale Method, she doesn't like to call it therapy. It's a way of moving a person so that their brain learns. It's all based on brain plasticity, which is the ability for the brain to change, the ability for the brain to change. And we all have this inherent in us. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, anybody, even if they're 90 years old, they can still learn something.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the ability to learn something new. And that's what this is about. So we do these movements in touch in order for children with any kind of issues neurologically to learn how to get better cognitively, physically, and emotionally.
So is there maybe 3, 4, or 5 standard moves?
No, it's a whole training. So that's where I was going with that. So I ended up going there to see her, and he did so well. Then I came back home to Arizona, and we found a local practitioner and a Yale Method practitioner here locally, and we got some sessions from them. We call them lessons, and we saw all the different kind of movements that they were doing. So then I ended up having this woman at the time fly out to my house and work with me and 5 other children, or my kid and 5 other children. And that's when I met a gentleman that was working with Anat in her training program. And he said, you should take the training. You should take the training with this woman. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm a computer guy. I'm not putting my hands on anybody. This is not going to happen. And then I thought about, be honest with you, I thought about the cost. The cost of taking the training as opposed to paying for a practitioner to work with my son for the next, it's nothing that's a quick fix, or it's not like you're going to get, healed from it.
Yeah.
It's something that helps your child have the best adult as well. Any kind of neurological problems with an adult, it's going to help over the long term. It's going to help them be the best that whoever they can be. With the new challenges that they have. So I decided, I think I'm gonna do this training, and it was in Northern California near San Francisco. And the first time I went there, I was like, I'm in the wrong pond, man. I'm a fish in the wrong pond. It's Northern California. I'm from Chicago, pretty rough around the edges. And these people are talking about the flowers and the trees, and some of them were, Anat's from Israel, so she's a different person, different type of person.
Yeah.
But she was straightforward with her training, and it's the first time I put my hands on anybody to, we had a lot of practice time.
So who were you working on up there?
Other adults. Other adults taking the training.
But other adults going through it that needed it, or just taking the training course?
Most people there were either parents of children with special needs, teachers. There were some doctors, therapists, other kinds of therapy, occupational, physical, speech, any kind of therapy. They were there. massage therapists, a couple of I always say it wrong, Reiki, and just things like that where they were like more into body awareness and body movements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was, there was a few of us that were like engineers and computer guys and stuff like that, but
with children that needed this help.
Yeah, just parents of children with special needs.
Yeah.
And I was one of 2 dads in there, which today my good buddy Dave in New Jersey is we're really close. So we grew up in that training together, and we both had children with special needs. So we connected really well. So I made lifelong friends in that training. But it was a 2-year program to start with, and then you can take additional classes up to 4 years. At that time, she's shortened it since then, but now back then it was almost 4 years of training that we took.
Any advancements as far as like different movements added in, or?
No. She got Anat Banyel created the work from her trainer, teacher, mentor, Moshe Feldenkrais. Feldenkrais Method is the basis of this work. Okay. Anat took that work and elevated it to another level and created what she calls the 9 essentials. Okay. And these 9 essentials are why this work of movement works well with the brain. Mm-hmm. So we went right to Anat because she also worked really well with the kids, and she got a lot of experience with the kids. So that's one of the reasons why we showed up at her doorstep. Mm-hmm. Plus, Moshe Feldenkrais had already passed away at the time. So even though there's Feldenkrais practitioners out there, we saw we needed to go to the person.
She was on the cutting edge.
Yeah, she was the one. So we went and saw her, and it was a good experience, but got me in the training, and So a real quick story about. Let's see, it was about a year and a half into the training of the 2-year basic training, it was called. Anat had a group of 80 of us students, and she goes, now that you've been doing this for this long, who wants to take this work out into the world and, help children and adults with special needs? And 79 people raised their hand. One person didn't.
Oh, and it was you.
Yeah, it was me.
Oh, come on. This whole time we're rooting for you.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So that was it. That was when I realized, you know what? I'm getting something, a skill and a knowledge of something that can really help a person, a child with special needs. And I would be stupid to just waste it on just, I told her at the time, because she asked me, Ed, you didn't raise your hand. And I said, yeah, I'm here for one reason and one reason only. Like I've always said, I'm here for my son. I'm here to help him.
And I don't think anybody could fault you for that. I think anybody.
Except for me.
Well, I mean, yes. Ultimately, you would think that, you would hope for people to do that. I want to raise it, everybody else. But at the same time, it's like my main focus is my son, my family. Yeah. That's my main focus. If I can't get to that, how can I get to everything else? Yeah. So I think one could understand your stance, but
no, it definitely changed me. My son brought some big things into my life at that point. So for me to say that was the point in time where I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try this. I'm going to start practicing. So I started practicing more. While I was doing my computer job, I was selling computers at the time, and I was doing kind of both. I was double dipping, doing a little bit here and there as I built my practice. And I actually met my wife in the training. Mm-hmm. She has a child with special needs as well, Ashley, and she's 12. Okay. And very similar to my son. Same kind of physical disability, same kind of cognitive developmental delays, epilepsy as well. So we really connected well.
Gotcha.
More than just the children, we really connected well as we started courting.
Gotcha.
And it just turned into a love affair. She was living in Canada at the time. I'm living here in Arizona.
And illegal.
Yeah. So long distance relationship happened for over 5 years, and finally she came down here and we got married. So we both
And that's a story from another day,
another
guys.
day.
All right.
But both of us are practitioners of this work, and Yale Method, and we love what we do now, man. We love working with the kids, especially the kids. If any of my adult clients are listening to this, I love you too, but
you deal with the parents as much as the kids, though, right?
Well, I'm talking about my adult clients. I work
gotcha.
with adults as well.
Gotcha.
But the parents, we love the parents. I mean,
Yeah.
we connect with them, almost immediately. And the ones that we haven't connected with, I don't know what their problem is, because all the parents' stories and situations
in the same shoes.
In the same boat. Yeah, we've all done, and not that every experience is the
No,
same, but
no.
it's very similar, and we've all had to deal with a lot of challenges, and we've overcome them, and we become stronger because we have a support system of working with each other. The ones that work with each other are the ones that really survive well. So, and Carla and I do that big time.
Yeah.
So
That's huge.
yeah.
You can't do it alone.
No, definitely not. No, and you have to learn that, actually. I will tell you that when we first started, my ex-wife and I at the time thought we moved out to Arizona, left all of her family.
Because he was 3, right?
Yeah, 3.5. My family, that we didn't get much help from our families. So forget that. We didn't get any help from friends. So forget that. As far as helping with our kids, we've gotten other help from moving and stuff like that. But with our kids, nothing. So we were on this island in Arizona alone for quite a while, and then we had to learn how to use the government support system, the schools. You have to navigate that whole stuff. So it's a whole learning experience to develop that. And then also now, Carla is a hero, my wife, and she is, reaching out to getting grants for our nonprofit organization. She's done some great things with getting some funding for other kids, for our kids. So, we're just learning the system as we go. We're doing a big surgery in September for my daughter to get better movement in her legs and potentially be able to walk better. So,
is that you're and Carla's daughter?
Yep, Ashley. Yep.
Because I meant to ask, there were twins, right? So how is the sister?
Yeah, so my daughter Caitlin, she came out pretty darn good.
Okay.
She's healthy now, and she's not typically developing. I would say she has the not an official diagnosis, but Asperger's and ADHD.
Gotcha.
Some attention deficit.
Well, and
stuff.
I think we're realizing that spectrum is really, really big.
Oh, it's broad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's broad because you can have what they call a high functioning person. They have a little bit of this thing going on. Like my daughter is doing great in school. She's very smart in school, very attentive. The teachers love her, but she can get sidetracked pretty easily. So, my Carla's niece and nephew are twins, and they were born premature as well. Not as early, but they're doing fantastic. So you can have the wide range of the spectrum, and not that they're even on any kind of autism spectrum or anything like that, but you can have completely healthy kids, or you can have kids with some needs, or you can have kids with really special needs.
My wife on her first pregnancy, I think she delivered 5 weeks, 6 weeks early.
Okay.
So they were, they were like, okay, well, I think it was 34 weeks might be the cutoff, and she was like 29 or something like that. But one thing that they told us, what I found was kind of odd, and I mean whimsical at the time, and even still, just like this, I guess fun, quote unquote fun fact is that they were like, okay, so your daughter's premature, but she's female, and she's minority, like not white. And they were like, so she has a better chance of being a little bit stronger. And I was like how? I can understand female, but then like being of not white is basically what they said, because we're Hispanic. Montoya is my last name. I found that quite intriguing, but since she came prematurely, our first child was premature. When my wife was pregnant with our second child, our son, she got progesterone shots, and she would get that like once or twice a week. And then our son came full term, and that was a super, good experience. And my kids, as you would say, are typical.
Yep.
So I am thankful for that. And again, why, it's hard enough raising a typical kid to then have the, the experience that you guys have had. Like, again, that's why I say, it's like, dude, you're an inspiration to me. You really are.
Well, thanks. But, I say we were handpicked by God to do what we do, because I can't imagine even family members doing what we do if they were to be, blessed with a child with special need. Yeah. So, and then you mentioned something about the rating system of what kind of child you have. Ours was the worst case scenario. A white boy, even though I'm half Mexican, he got about 1/4 of that.
Yeah.
Because of his mom, and they were like, he's probably the least, available to survive.
So they told that to you as well.
Yeah, totally,
wow.
totally, yeah. Yeah, he was born early, and he's a white boy, so, they have the least chance of survival. So I was like, oh, thanks for the, good news.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
white male privilege. That's where it's at.
Exactly. Yeah, no way.
No, I did find that interesting when they said that. But I'm really interested to find out, and I kind of kick myself for not actually looking into that method that you are referring to, because I would imagine that it would have benefits for anybody at this point.
You are dead on, man. Anybody can use this work.
Yeah.
So I took a course. So the basic training was to learn the Yale Method. Then the next course is called Children's with Special Needs.
Okay.
So we work all with children, different age levels, different diagnoses. So that's the second course. Then the third course is Vitality Anti-Aging, working with the older adults that have, just movement problems, or, getting around, or maybe they have the other things like Parkinson's or stroke or things like that. Multiple sclerosis or Lou Gehrig's disease. I work with one woman that has, I don't know the acronym, but it's PLS. I don't know what it stands for, but it's another, degenerative disease. So those adults that I work with are doing fantastic with this work. And then there's athletes, anybody who uses movement in their work, musicians, athletes, anybody who does construction workers, anybody that uses movement in their work can benefit from this.
Well,
I do jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of movement. And at my age, I love it.
Well, I wouldn't even think of like the people that are just sedentary need it the most. I would
totally.
think.
Well,
you're not moving.
They need exercise and movement. Yes, definitely.
Just get that blood flow.
Yeah, we can do a whole other podcast on exercise. Yeah, that's you need that. You need that to I was asked just recently by a guy that was like I think he was probably 45. And he found out I was 52. He's like, "What's the secret to your youth?" I'm like, "You exercise,
you just
man.
Get your ass up and do it."
Yeah, you exercise, you eat healthy, and you have kids with special needs, and you work with children all day. You stay young.
Yeah, you've told me that you were a little bit heavier set, and you've lost some weight, and you know I've lost 60 pounds or so. I've kind of put another 9 back, from being just sloppy. Considering we have the Spartan race on Saturday, I'm in the worst shape I've been in like a year.
We're gonna do great.
Oh yeah, there's no turning back. I had 3 donuts today. One of our reps brought some in, and I was like, I'm just going in, head down. I'm like, there's nothing I can do at this point to prepare me. Plus I got a pulled hamstring from our softball game on Thursday. There's that.
Not gonna happen. You can't prepare a week before.
No,
or even a couple days before.
No.
Yeah.
But just getting up and doing it.
Yep.
It's that people ask me, it's like, well, how'd you do it? What's the secret? And it's not a secret. It's diet and exercise. It's literally that simple.
It's a habitual thing now.
Yes.
I was probably 30 pounds overweight. This is a whole other podcast, but I was 30 pounds overweight, and at 37, I had the kids, and it was like, all right, am I going to be around for them, or am I going to die like my dad died at 61? and his dad died at 59.
So you're hanging around at 59 to 61. You're just dreading those.
Well, I don't do what they do. They ate bad. They smoked.
Yes.
So I don't do that. I exercise. I do things that are healthier for me. And I work with children with special needs, which keeps me young, man.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. And I don't sit in front of the TV. I got this TV. I don't even use the dang thing. So
use it as a mirror.
yeah. So, it's just it's a habitual thing. Yeah. I don't even call it healthy lifestyle. Yeah, it is a healthy lifestyle, but it's a habitual thing.
It's just what you do.
I just want to do that instead of doing other stuff that's more sedentary.
Because people were asking, it's like, what do you? I had talked about doing keto, the ketogenic diet, and I was like, this is what I'm doing. I finally got convinced, after listening to so many other podcasts talking about its benefits, and I was like, I'm gonna try it. Yeah. And people were just like, oh, this worked me to lose weight. Oh, and this worked me for me to lose weight. And I'm like, the goal is not to lose weight. Mm-hmm. There's one reason or one way to lose weight that works. You don't eat. That's not the goal. The goal is not to lose weight. The goal is to just live a healthier lifestyle and feed my body properly with more natural foods. Mm-hmm. And but people are so like, what works? What's this? What's your trick? Or I know this, I know that. And it's like, that's not, I'm not goal oriented. It's like you said, it's a lifestyle, but you don't refer to it as a lifestyle because that's just what your life is. So that I'm not on a diet. That's just what my diet is now. Mm-hmm. And obviously, like, I've gotten really comfortable with where I am. And now, like I said, today I had 3 donuts, but
well, you're talking about the microwave society. I want a quick fix on, being healthy. Mm-hmm. It's not that. It's learning a little bit about nutrition. It's learning a little bit about health and exercise, and then applying it. It's not rocket science. If you are going to eat, this is what I used to do. I used to eat a 2-pound steak and, mashed potatoes and gravy and, and there are no vegetables. And
the steak is not the issue.
The 2 pounds is. You can eat any good food.
Hold on. In
excess.
And if you're still eating 2 other meals a day and snacks, yes. Okay, exactly. There is that. But the meat isn't the issue. It's the gravy. It's too much mashed potatoes with butter. And even butter, I eat everything with butter. Because, again, ketogenic, it's fat. Mm-hmm. But right now I just follow like a paleo ketogenic diet. Anything
in excess is not good for you.
Yeah, what was that? Anything.
And I'm 52, so you have to listen.
I do have to default to you. Everything in moderation. Even moderation. I like that one.
Exactly.
No.
Let me tell you about the work.
Yes.
That's what you want.
That's what we're here for.
So, well, you asked me about that. So, the Yale Method is like I said, it's a movement. I don't want to call it a therapy for sure. That's not what she likes to call it, but it's a treatment of sorts. It's a method that uses movement and touch to help feed information to the brain. Okay. It's your sensory that you get, the senses that you get from movement and touch go right to the brain, and it helps you connect to your body. Also creates new connections, hence the name of our company, New Connections. It helps new connections be created in the brain so that you get better roadmaps to the different parts of your nervous system in your body.
Gotcha.
So that helps your physical abilities increase and get better, especially for children with special needs and physical disabilities. It helps your cognitive abilities increase. So thinking on the fly, just coming up with new stuff. Be more creative. That stuff is increased. Dreams even get a little, weird at some points.
Yes.
And then the emotional states. Some of our kids and adults even, some of them have trouble controlling their emotions. Kids with autism, kids with ADHD, they don't know how to take all of this chaos of things around them, lights, sounds, colors, shapes. All that input is coming into their brain, and they don't know how to organize it.
Yeah, because I could picture somebody, not familiar with the method and having a special needs and a non-typical kid and just fearful of it, like leave them in like in a sedentary place, like sit there, don't move, because the movement, makes them scared or anything like that. And you grow uneasy, depressed, like your mind wanders when you're just sedentary. Whereas getting movement, it's like exercising. You're really getting a lot of that out and creating those new connections when you actually move and feel those touches. Makes total sense to me.
Yeah, Albert Einstein said, movement is life.
Yeah.
So if you don't move, well, I'll tell you another story too. We were in front of Michael Mersenek, who's a well-renowned neuroscientist,
Okay.
and he said to us, I can make all of you paralyzed within 30 days, even if you're typically healthy and doing well. He said, if I put you in a body cast and restricted all of your movement for 30 days and took that off, you would have no clue how to regain some of that without,
Yeah, because your brain or your body would be like, well, we're not using this, so let's cut. That's unused energy.
The brain shuts it down.
Yeah.
The brain shuts down. I think of it, there's a great little video on YouTube that shows a roadmap type looking thing. If you make a connection to your parts of your body or even, your cognitive abilities, if you exercise that over and over and over, the roadmap gets to be a 6-lane highway. If you decrease using something, like you stop moving, then it comes down to like a 1-lane highway or cuts off completely, and your brain will turn it off.
Yeah.
If you ever had a cast on
Never.
for a broken bone?
Never broken
So I've
bone.
had plenty of broken bones. And
Looks like your face is taking some damage.
no, that's MMA.
I'm
I don't
just
do
messing.
MMA. Anyway, so a broken bone, if you have a cast on and then you have it on for 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, whatever, and then you have it taken off, it is about half the size of
atrophies.
the other atrophy.
Yeah.
Why does atrophy happen? The brain doesn't have any attention to that area, so it shuts down. No more muscles are needed, so the brain just shuts it down. And
So
the
many
muscles
analogies shelling up. So many analogies. So many.
So yeah, that's what happens, and that's what brain plasticity is too. You have to exercise the brain, and then it continues to keep the highways.
Yeah,
nice
and
strong
learning
to your
something new.
body.
Learning a new movement is learning something new, so that creates new connections in your. I keep saying new connections. That's the ding,
that's
ding,
what it
ding.
is.
You take a shot anytime you hear new connections, guys. No, that forms a new connection in the brain, and it keeps it evolving and learning.
We do something called I'm going to screw this up. TML, transformational movement lessons.
Okay.
And what that is somebody will instruct us. We'll be laying on the floor or a mat or something like that, and somebody instruct us to do certain movements. And the movements are different than normally what I do. We're moving different parts of our body to create this movement. And it's not about completing the movement in a perfect function. It's about experience the movement and having your brain connect to it in what we call movement with attention, and then your brain picks up those new connections from the different movements. So we do all sorts of crazy movements, and it's really quite profound because it's nothing that I've ever done before. And even though I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I got myself in all sorts of crazy positions with that. But the only reason I can do it at 52 is because, not that I've been doing jiu-jitsu for the last 20 years, because I know that people have been doing that. I just started like 4 or 5 years ago, and I do it very part-time. Yeah. But the only reason I can do some of these movements that I do is because of this work, this Yale Method.
You've been doing. Yeah. I could, again, in my own life, just equate that to when I started doing yoga. Like at first, all these yoga poses were a little tough, man. I was like, man, and on account that I was doing it in my garage in the Arizona summer. But yeah, some of those movements were really tough. My balance was way off, and over time, they just got better. So my brain was like, okay, well, this is what we're doing now. Let's form connections there for it to be more stable.
That's brain plasticity right there. Your brain here, let me give you another example. I learned how to run a marathon in 3 months, but it was by training my brain, by doing the runs, doing the training runs. And then my brain told my body how to use water, how to use air, oxygen coming in, how to increase the muscles where it needed to be increased for that endurance type of thing. And that's brain plasticity. The brain is changing according to the environment that I'm giving it, the food that I'm giving it. We're going back to the healthy thing. what
It
you
all is.
feed
Food is
yourself.
medicine.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
forget that. Food is medicine.
Yeah, whatever you feed your body, it's going to take care of the brain, the body, the nervous system, everything. So
Yeah, it's all connected as much as we like to think it's not, and we're detached from certain, aspects. But I need to denigrate some brain plasticity with some more rum.
yeah,
Let's take a quick breather.
take a breather.
And we are back with
Hey.
brand new refreshments.
Yes.
This has been a refreshing podcast. But I guess we could go right into your nonprofit. How did that come about?
So my nonprofit organization called Cerebral Palsy Hope Foundation was founded about, 8 years ago or so.
Okay.
I started that based on a suggestion from another mother that was doing a lot of fundraising, and I was worried about tax consequences. So I was getting some funding in small amounts from donators, whether it was family, friends, whatever. And I was like worried. I don't know why I got so worried about it, but I'm like, you know what? In order to not get nailed with taxes, I consulted with a lawyer, and he said, yeah, set up a nonprofit organization. 99.9% could go to your son. And if you send a check to some other child for 0.1%, then you're doing what a nonprofit's, supposed to do.
Okay.
You're not keeping anything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, that's fine. So I created the foundation, and I did a couple of fundraisers for my son. We did a poker tournament. We did, I don't even know what else we did. This is way back when. I haven't done a fundraiser per se since the first couple years of it. And then I started to get serious about it, and actually hired a fundraising organizer.
Okay.
Who ended up completely backing out on me. And then I hired another one who completely backed out on me. So it kind of fizzled out for a while, but I kept it open because there wasn't much paperwork to do to keep up a nonprofit organization. I'm really selling nonprofit organizations, aren't I? A mother client of ours asked if I could help her fundraise through my nonprofit for her son. I said, yeah, we can work out the details. So we worked it out, and that's what's kept my nonprofit organization open. Now, recently, over the last couple of years now, Carla's done some grant writing and some fundraising, activities that have done very well for us and for, going to benefit both our kids basically benefit them in fundraising that we needed for different equipment.
Yeah.
The surgery I told you about. So yeah, we're definitely,
I even
doing
saw,
some bigger things with it, and we're going to see how it grows.
I saw a post. I think it was about a year and a half ago, where she posted about that she's been really struggling with getting special needs swings at your neighborhood park here.
Yeah.
And almost to the point where maybe she kind of lost hope on that. And then 6 months later, I saw her post a picture with some special needs swings down there. I was like, oh, awesome.
Yeah. Carla's the greatest advocate. I thank God for her every day, because she knows how to fight the fight.
Yeah.
So I gotta brag on her a little bit, because
Please do.
In Canada, there's something called Caroline's Cart, and Caroline's Cart is a shopping cart for children with special needs, or even adults with special needs. It's a way that you probably don't know this, but taking kids to the shopping mall, or not the shopping mall, to a grocery store, is a pain in the butt. And you got to lift them, and they don't fit in any cart, especially when they're 15 and they don't walk on their own. So what do? You either bring a stroller with you, or a push cart thing that we have, or you leave them at home and you go grocery shopping. So they have this thing somebody came out with this thing called Caroline's Cart. It was based on the child, Caroline. And Caroline's Cart is a full-blown grocery cart that has a seat in front of it, that a child or a bigger child, an adult even, could sit in and go grocery shopping with mom or dad or whoever. So anyway, long story on that is that Carla fought to get those Caroline carts in a Canadian grocery store up in where she lives, or where she lived in Canada, in Edmonton. And she got it. She freaking got it.
Good.
And then it blew up. It went to all these different places and all these different grocery stores. Other people jumped on the bandwagon and got it for their communities. And there's Caroline's carts all over Canada right now because of what Carla did. And
That's
she
awesome.
was on the news, and of course the person that funded it, the company that funded it, they got on the news, and
Yeah.
it was fantastic. So that gave her the starting,
The little,
starting thing.
hey, I can maybe take this elsewhere.
Exactly. So when we were moving her down to Arizona, we both thought, my son gets complete government coverage here in Arizona because he's a U.S. citizen, and he gets, healthcare coverage. He gets equipment coverage, wheelchair,
Awesome.
some modifications in the house for his needs. And we thought, when Carla moves down here with her daughter, we're going to have, the same kind of coverage.
Yeah.
Not to be.
No.
There's a 5-year waiting period. So we have to wait 5 years in order for her to get on government coverage. So that's when Carla's like, you know what? I got to do something now, because she's missing out on therapies, on equipment and stuff like that.
That's horrible.
So she learned the whole thing about grant writing and, talking to different nonprofit organizations that are way bigger than ours.
Yeah.
And told them we're a nonprofit, a smaller nonprofit. And, she's done some amazing things with that. Like I said, she's done some great fundraising over the last, literally the last couple months has been amazing.
Yeah.
For what she's done. And I'm not going to go into specifics, but
Yeah.
we've got.
Well, you guys partnered with that pizza joint.
Yeah, that was
gave
one
you
thing that
guys,
we did.
What? Like 40% or something like that? Well, you got 40% off, and then you guys got like a 10% kickback or something.
Yeah, so Papa John's was a pizza place that did something with a nonprofit organization.
That was awesome.
That was us. So,
that was just supposed to be for the month of March, but then they went ahead and extended it.
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken?
apparently they're going for the whole year. We haven't seen any kind of funds from that, but we'll see what happens with that.
Oh, got to hold their feet to the fire. Come on, John.
Yeah.
Be the nice papa.
Yeah, so it's good though. It's things like that are happening, and we don't know where it's going to go. We don't have I don't want to say we don't have a plan, but we have a dream.
Yeah.
Carla and I have a dream that one day we can open up a facility that can have 4 to 8, young adults, 18 to 25.
Okay.
Or older, because we're going to be in that situation soon with Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
She's 12 right now, and we want to be parents. We don't want to be caregivers for the rest of our lives. We want to learn how to, be just parents, because we've never had that ability. Never had to do that. We were always caregivers with them as well, and we just have a dream of creating this home or this place. That's similar to another place that we go to called Ryan House in Phoenix, that it's a respite home.
Okay.
And it houses, anywhere from, I think they have about 10 kids, and they have professional nursing there and medical needs if they need it. Mm-hmm. And they give the parents a respite. They give them a time to be parents and not be caregivers. So they stay there for a week. They have all sorts of different things, swimming and toys and all sorts of things. So we're looking to potentially in the future have something like that, and maybe it's through the nonprofit. Mm-hmm. We just don't know. We'll have to, that's a bigger project on the horizon. So
yeah, you have to have those moments where you can kind of step back, because as I can imagine, it's brought you much closer than you could have ever hoped for to your children, being that as a parent, your responsibility for their life and their well-being is already, you would think at max level, but now you take it to the point where like you have to do these extra courses for them to be able to function as a typical child.
Well, I'm never going to say that I'm, more of anything of a parent than you are, or
Bro,
anybody.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Stop.
Listen.
I appreciate the kudos, but I'll never take it as I'm any better than any other parent.
And you shouldn't,
Y'all love
but
your
I'm gonna
kids.
say it.
You know what? It's again, we were handpicked by God to do the work that we do. Carla and I
That's beautiful.
were picked by a higher power because we can do it. And we've learned how to do it. We're nurses, we're doctors, we're therapists, we're practitioners now of a special
And your stewards and your teachers.
Yeah. I
because
think
you're taking your message around. I've seen a few of those interviews you've done, abroad.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been traveling this whole month so far, right? And still more to come.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we got it the whole summer. We'll be traveling.
Spreading the word.
Well, so let me tell you that we do what we do. We're traveling practitioners. So Carla and I, and Carla's the master scheduler and developer of this, but she gets us. We have work in Minnesota, where we have a full practice in Minnesota. We have a full practice in Canada, and in 2 different locations, maybe 3 different locations if you count the 3 that we've been to. We've got a full practice we work out of Denmark as well. Denmark, the other country.
Denmark is great.
We have a practice here in Arizona. We've been to Mexico. We've been to Hawaii. We like to travel to do the work that we do.
Yeah.
I'm going to be, this is selfishly, but we want to be able to leave our kids for a bit and do the work and then come back and be caregivers.
No one can blame you for that.
Yeah, well, some people do.
Yeah, and they have an unrealistic expectation. You need your time to yourselves, to collect yourself, so you can be
Thank you, Mom.
more for your child when you come back.
It is. And even though we work with children with special needs, I always tell the parents, you got to take them home. I don't have to change a diaper. I don't have to give them a bath. I don't have to lift them. These are your kids. I get to work with them for, half an hour.
Yeah.
You take them home. So, yeah, and we've, Carl and I work our butts off. Like I got a scheduled thing in BC, Canada, that's going to be 15 sessions a day, which is 15 half-hour sessions a day. So I'll be working with 5 different children. So I'll be pretty much working from, I think, 8 to 5 or something like that.
Do you know, like, of your should I refer to them as clients there?
Yep.
Like, are they traveling like super far, or are they all like in the area?
The reason why I'm going to that area is because they're all, pretty local to that area.
Okay, so you've kind of done some research or they've reached out and you've been able to.
Well, whenever we travel, we like to have people in that area so that they don't have to come see us all the way in Arizona.
Yeah.
Or they don't have a local practitioner in their area, so we're showing up as being that practitioner.
So how many other, I guess, operations is a good word to say, are like on either your level or above that are providing in certain cities? Where can other people look into the work that you've learned?
Well, I know there's other traveling practitioners, but the best way to find a practitioner is you go to the notbanyelmethod.com website, and there's a link on there called Find a Practitioner, and then you can find a local practitioner based on your zip code or your state or whatever. And if you don't have one, give us a call.
You can make it happen.
What we try to do is if we have the need, if there's the need there, we're not just going to go, I don't want to say this rudely, but I don't want to say we're not going to go for one kid.
No.
Every kid needs it, but it's got to make sense.
It's
for
costly.
us.
You guys are running a nonprofit,
Well, no, this is not the nonprofit. This is separate. This is
true.
our business.
That's true.
This
That's
is this is our practice that we do. The New Connections, Connections, and then there's Cerebral Palsy Hope Foundation, which is the nonprofit.
That's true. Yeah.
So the New Connections is obviously this is our livelihood, so we have to make it worth our while. Plus, we're leaving our family, and we have to get caregivers for our kids when we're gone. So it's got to make sense. We have to have at least 3 kids in order for one of us to
maybe
go out.
That's where, like, if it was like a one kid, where maybe like the I mean, it wouldn't happen all the time, but you know, where the nonprofit and the business kind of come in hand, where maybe you were able to find like a guarantor for the funds needed for you guys to travel in like this extreme, you know, scenario.
Well, we have several different clients that have either government assistance or they have other nonprofits that will fund their sessions that they get with their kids. So they're basically paying us directly. So
Gotcha.
yeah. People with children with special needs figure out ways to make things happen.
You have to.
Yeah. I've traveled. Well, geez, when I was getting sessions for my son, I was hawking everything, and then I ended up selling a house. So, I was doing what I needed to do in order for him to get sessions and for me to be able to take that training, because the training, it's a financial commitment. So, it's like getting a college degree, very specific college degree.
Yeah.
But it's people ask me, clients or whatever, ask me, what do I do at home to do this work? I will give them a couple tips and, hints to do at home to support the work, but I can't tell them I'm not a trainer. I can't teach them how to do this work. You have to go to the training just like I went.
Yeah.
So it's like getting a college degree.
I can imagine as much. You have to be the doctor, like you said, be the doctor, be the dietitian, be the physical therapist, all of that. Which actually leads me to my next point is there a specific diet you have your children on?
Well, every diagnosis seems to have good nutrition for kids with digestive challenges. So it's like a diagnosis of cerebral palsy. Sometimes the digestive system is compromised by that diagnosis. And you can be on the ketogenic diet, you can be on a gluten-free diet. You just got to see what the kiddo needs, and then you kind of look at what's beneficial for them. Right now for Ashley, she's on gluten-free for her epilepsy.
Okay.
We've read research on epilepsy and how gluten-free helps that out.
Yeah.
So, all sorts of our parents and the clients that we have are on different diets.
Yeah.
Taking different supplements, then you can go into the whole homeopathic, realm and different, there's all sorts of different supplements. There's essential oils, so many things.
It's hard to navigate those waters.
It is. And as a parent advising another parent, because I've been doing this for 15 years, not that I'm a professional, but I just say, you got to go with your gut sometimes. Sometimes you just got to try it and see if it works, see if it does good for your kid.
Yeah.
And if it does, then great, you found something. Like I did a Yale Method, and it did great. You know how many other therapies or treatments there are like a Yale Method? If I was talking to a Yale herself, she'd probably say nothing. It's very, but there are other physical movement type treatments that are similar to it, and they're working on brain plasticity. But
and at least they're doing something.
Yeah.
But
you
found the one that optimized
it worked
your
good
child.
for my kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. And that's what's I guess could be the hard part. It's the trials of trying a new diet, a new system, a new movement, and not having it work. And you could get beat down by that for sure.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. So again, my hat's off to you, man.
You know what? As a parent of a child with special needs, the worst thing that can hear from another parent or another person is like, "Oh man, I feel for you, brother."
And I know what you're feeling. I don't know what you're feeling. I can empathize with you. I can understand that, but at the same time, it's like, come on, man, be real. It's like, you have beautiful children and you love them.
Yeah.
And it's hard work on top of hard work. It really is.
Well, are there days that I would tear my hair out? Yeah. Of course.
Man. I mean, there's days I tear my hair out.
Yeah.
And it's
being a parent.
It's to that next level. So every post I see from you and Carla, it's just like, yes, man. Yes. Like, awesome. Like you guys are still doing it. You guys are still staying positive. Cause dude, life beats us down for fucking being normal. I mean, having a typical, excuse the normal, a typical life.
Mm-hmm.
Life beats you down. And now you have those typical people looking at the non-typicals as like, I dealt with this with a customer of mine. I work in a music retail shop, and this guy came in and he's on the floor, and he's been in here before. He's been in the store many times. I recognize him, but he's on the floor and he's got these movements. He's all around, his head's moving back and forth, and he's on the floor. And damn it, can that guy play some guitar?
Yeah.
But he's literally on the floor, and I'm like, hey man, we doing okay? He's like, yeah, I'm just checking out this guitar. I don't feel comfortable with me pulling it out. And I mean, he's stuttering in between. Like he's just got, I don't know what it would be, maybe Parkinson's, but it's some sort of like body movements that he really can't control. And I've seen him in there at times where he's kind of like calmed. Like, I don't know what he's taking in that moment.
Well, the music's probably doing it. You know?
He's in there walking, or really calm, and then there's other times where he's in the store and he's in. I mean, this is the first time I've really seen him on the ground like that, so I was kind of taken aback. But I was like, "Hey, man, what are you looking for? What can I help you with?" And he was telling me what he was shopping for. The whole time he's on his butt, sitting down, and sitting like a child, really, and I'm like pulling a guitar down, and he's wanting to play it, and he wants like this glass slide so he can play some blues on there. I'm like getting it all set up for him, and I think ultimately somebody he was shopping in the area with came in, and then they left. But I was like, what can I do for you, man? Can I help you up? Can I sit you down in this chair? Like, I don't know how to act in that scenario. Yeah. I don't. All I can do is, hey, I'm here from you. Let me know what I can do to make this a pleasant experience for you.
Yeah, most people don't have experience with any person with a disability or challenge, and some are very uncomfortable with it. And they can get to the point where they're, I don't want to say demeaning, but they just, you're so sympathetic or empathetic that it's like, come on. You
don't get treated like a quote unquote normal person.
But there's also adults with special needs that they try to do too much on their own, and they don't want to ask for help. So, there's a balance. There's a balance of everything. And I think that, as long as you gave them attention, I think that's the best thing you can do.
And
if you treat them any different.
That's all I try to do is make eye contact, let them know I'm here for whatever they need. How can I help? How can I be almost like, how can I be less of a burden to you? Like, what can I do to make you feel comfortable? Because that's really it, right? It's like, as much as we think that they feel uncomfortable, it's really I don't know how to hold myself in this situation.
They could ask, though. I mean, sometimes we think we need to do something just because we see a child with special needs or an adult with special needs. Yeah. Sometimes you don't need to do nothing. Just treat them like a typical person.
Yeah.
We have so many, I could tell you a bazillion friggin' stories of us pushing our kids around, and they have special needs, right? That you can't deny that how they look and how they act.
Yeah.
And we get the stares. And it's like they're seeing an alien. Yeah. And the worst thing that we've ever had asked out of everything that we've been asked is, what's wrong with your child?
No.
Nothing's wrong with my child. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, for asking that.
So, you get all sorts of things. But then on the other aspect is when, on the other side of the coin is when we have, like, for instance, Carla went on a plane today, and she was asked, can I help you, with something, fold up the stroller or carry a bag or help you with your daughter? Because she's 55 pounds now, right?
Yeah,
so she's
and Carla's like 58 pounds.
Yeah. Carla, you're 58 pounds. So, but carrying her into the plane, which is already a cramped place, right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. So she's getting help with that, and that's the best thing, just like, getting a little helping hand. And we're both of us, Carla and I, now are like, yeah, if you want to help, dude, come on over. We'll help you. We'll take your help in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Before we're like, hands off, I got this, this is my kid, you don't have to worry about it. But now it's like, screw it, we're like, but I think that's the best thing people can do is just treat people like a typical person until they ask for help. You know, if they ask for help, then great. You know, if they now there is different communication things. So if a child or kid can't communicate, or an adult can't communicate, that's a whole different level.
Yeah.
But if a person can communicate with you and they have physical disability, then you just treat them like a normal person. And then if they need anything, don't go up to them and go, dude, I see you on the floor. You know, can I help you? You know, do you need any help? And look all concerned.
Yeah, no,
you know,
and in that moment, I feel like I didn't. Like, I just went in there. I was like, hey, man, any questions? Like, what can I help you with?
Beautiful.
And that is what I try to stay conscious about. You know, is I don't know if that's maybe, you know, who I am, not to a fault, but you know who I am. Like, I just want everybody to be comfortable, which is why kind of like I feel like this is really good for me. Like, I just want to get people on the mic and let me make you feel comfortable. Let's just talk. And
dude,
and
I'm
learn.
totally uncomfortable right now.
Well, I am
making
naked.
me uncomfortable.
I am naked. So
all right, we just went to a whole different level.
No, I am not. Unfortunately, no. Well, shit, man, this has been so much fun. Like, just there's not many times where you get to sit down and have, you know, 45 minutes, hour and a half to, you know, just talk to somebody. I don't know. It's been a perfect amount of time.
Edit it.
No, but you don't often get that in quote unquote real life, which is another reason why I like doing this. Is I get to take that block of time out and sit somebody down and let me pick the brain and what do you have for me and us, you know, everybody else, because that's all I can do is just pass on whatever knowledge I'm coming across. And it's been really fun talking with you, and I hope this reaches and touches a lot of people that need it. And in conjunction with that, where could they find more information about what you do?
So, believe it or not, we do not have a website.
Perfect.
Everything we've done with our practice, which is crazy, has been through social media or just word of mouth.
Yeah.
But if you want to contact me directly, you can email me or phone me. So email address, do you want that now? Or
yeah, go ahead.
So it's my name, EdDassie. So it's EdDassie at CenturyLink.net. Mm-hmm. Or my wife, Carla, ABM. That's Anat Yale Method, ABM for FORKids at CenturyLink.net, ABMforKids at CenturyLink.net. My phone number is 480-707-7621. My wife is 480-652-7020.
And they're both taken, so watch yourself. Do you guys have like a Facebook page, Twitter,
yes.
Instagram?
So if you look up New Connections Movement Works, that's our page for our business. And then
on Facebook?
Yeah, on Facebook. Okay. Sorry.
Yep.
Cerebral Palsy Hope Foundation is the nonprofit organization.
Perfect.
So either one of those, you send a message on Facebook, we'll definitely respond real quick. We usually respond less than 24 hours.
Nice. That's awesome because you guys are traveling all the time.
Well, I don't want to sound like we're so busy that I can get back to you in 5 days. No, geez, we're we love to do what we do, and we respond real quick when we see something come through. Because if it's an inquiry, one of the things that Carla and I do is we want to answer questions about this work and about how it's,
because you've been in the other side.
Life.
You've been on the other side.
It's changed our life, and we wouldn't have this house, we wouldn't have this life, we wouldn't have this fulfillment in our work that we do if it wasn't for our kids. So we're happy to share that, and that's the only reason why I agreed to do this podcast is, you wanted to hear what I had to say. Hopefully somebody else wants to hear it, and you know what? I hope they get something from it, and they, do something with it,
Yes.
That's all I can hope for.
Take the information and apply it to your life. That's the end goal.
Sure.
Yeah. Perfect, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope to talk to you again.
By the way, you never even asked what my name was, did you?
What do you mean?
No, I think you did say it.
Which name?
At the beginning.
Which name we talking about now?
The business name.
What? Hold on. The business or like the business?
The official Star business name. No, we're just totally joking now. Sorry.
It's all good. It's definitely been a fun one and very, very informative. And I'm sure this will reach at least half a person that could do something with it.
Mom, are you listening?
Come in, you're on the email list. No, but thanks for tuning in to this one time.
Hey, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, of course, man. We'll catch you guys on the flip. So peace, love, and prosperity. All right, guys. Have a beautiful rest of your life.
Day.
Yes.